Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Halloweed. Not Halloween, Halloweed. When I was like initially watching this and thinking about the review, I was like, man, maybe I'll get like heck of views off people just like off typos in the YouTube app. Like maybe people will accidentally spell Halloween wrong, and it's like, and they'll just stumble across my video. They're like, I was looking for Halloween, not Halloweed. They're like, what the heck even is this movie? This can't even be a real movie. This is, I wanted to see Michael Myers. I didn't want to see this. But anyways, I'm talking about Halloweed today. I gotta emphasize that. Because it's gonna be very similar to Halloween in the title. I'm clickbaiting people, I'm tricking people. You just got. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, we're talking about Halloweed today. I found out about this movie like a year ago or something like that. I was at the good old Dollar Tree, which is now Dollar Tree and more. R.I.P. the OG Dollar Tree, where you could get stuff for $1, then $1.25. Now it's a Dollar Tree and more, but you can still get quite a few things for $1.25. So I still got mad love for Dollar Tree. But anyways, about a year ago, I was at the good old Dollar Tree and I came across this movie, but I did not buy it because I was like, this seems kind of interesting. I like horror films. I like stoner comedies. Maybe this is cool, but maybe it totally sucks. I'm not just gonna buy it, even though it's $1.25. I don't feel like it. So yeah, I was intrigued by it. So I went home and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, there's actually quite a few actors that I'm a huge fan of, and there's actually quite a few actors that are relatively famous in this. So just to name a few, Simon Rex is in this, who I'm a big fan of. I like, his acting work. Scary Movie 3 I used to watch on repeat when I was younger. I like his music too. He raps. His like solo project, it's called Dirt Nasty. He's got some good songs. His most popular song is 1980. That song's pretty good. But he's also in this group with Andy Milonakis and Riff Raff called Three Loco. It's like a comedy rap group. They have some pretty good songs. I used to listen to Three Loco a lot. So I like Simon Rex. What's his name? Andy Milonakis is actually in this movie too. So Simon Rex is in this movie. You got Andy Milonakis. Jason Mewes is in this from all the Kevin Smith movies. I love Jason Mewes. Danny Trejo's in this. I mean, Danny Trejo rules. Ray Wise is in this. I remember him from Jeepers Creepers too, but he's in a bunch of other stuff. And then Tom Sizemore's in this. So I think there's actually some other notable actors as well, but those are the main actors that I recognize. So yeah, once I realized that all those individuals were in this movie, I'm like, oh well, there's some star power in this. This is worth checking out. And mainly, I wanted to check it out for Simon Rex and Andy Milonakis because, like I said, I'm a big fan of all their little rap stuff. I used to listen to Three Loco on repeat. So, and even like Simon Rex, I used to watch his vines and stuff. Like I just think, and like Andy Milonakis, I would watch his YouTube channel all the time. Like I really think Simon Rex and Andy Milonakis are funny. So that's kind of what led me to watch this movie. And my overall opinion of the movie, I thought it was decent. I thought it was okay. It was definitely a serviceable comedy. There were some, super funny, raunchy jokes. The overall movie, it had some problems, but it kind of broke up my viewing for this month. I was looking for something kind of more light, kind of more funny, and even though it wasn't the best you know, stoner comedy or horror comedy. It was okay. So yeah, I didn't hate it by any means. But anyways, now that I've given you all my overall opinion, I'm going to jump into a quick plot summary. So the movie focuses on these two stepbrothers. You have Trent and then Joey, played by Simon Rex. And Trent, his father is this mass murderer. So, you know, Trent and Joey are plagued by the fact that their father slash stepfather is this mass murderer. Everyone knows. It's kind of tainted their reputation. So, you know, Trent wants to get a fresh start. So he wants to move to this quiet little town called Mooseheart. And him and Joey, they hitchhike to Mooseheart in order to start a new life where no one will know that their father is a mass murderer. And unfortunately, their plan to go under the radar does not work out, because once they arrive in Mooseheart, all these murders start happening. And actually, they did not know, but this Mooseheart has a troubled past with this murderer, this legend of this murderer called the Candy Corn Killer. So all these murders start happening once Trent and Joey arrive there. Some people think it might be the Candy Corn Killer, and you know, some people learn, you know, the fact that Trent and Joey's father slash stepfather is this mass murderer. So they are suspects in these ongoing murders as well. So basically, for the rest of the movie, Trent and Joey are trying to uncover the mystery of who the killer is, so that they can save face and prove to everyone that they are not the killers. So that's the basic plot summary. So I'm gonna jump into likes first, and then I'm gonna jump into dislikes, and then I'm gonna get the heck out of here. I'm gonna try not to overstay my welcome today. Sometimes I just, once I start talking, it goes on forever. You know, sometimes I gotta cut it off. But anyways, jumping into likes. First thing that I really liked about this movie. Okay, so this movie came out in 2016, and you know, during that time there was kind of a shift where, you know, there weren't as many raunchy, edgy comedies coming out. Like, for the most part, the last raunchy, edgy comedies, like the cutoff for that type of movie was, in my opinion, around like 2013. After that, you didn't really see real like offensive comedies. You would see some here and there, but you know, I walked into this I walked into this movie blind, and I didn't expect the comedy to be so raunchy and so edgy. And oftentimes I really like that type of comedy, like comedy from movies from like the 2000s or early 2010s. You know, that real raunchy, inappropriate, not politically correct comedy. I love that stuff. So to find a movie that came out in 2016 that still had that type of comedy, I thought that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. Like I mentioned earlier, there were a lot of actors that I really like, a lot of actors that I recognize. So that was fun for me. Some of the actors were, they kind of were more like cameo roles. Like Jason Mewes wasn't in the movie for that long. Same with Andy Milonakis. They were only in the movie for like a little bit. They were like basically Simon Rex's character Joey. He was trapping. He was selling weed, and they were helping him. They were like in this back alley selling weed. That was like a really fun scene. I loved seeing all them together. So yeah, another thing that I really liked about the movie is seeing all those actors that I liked. Danny Trejo, he was great. He was always like posted up in his office, like watching movies, and he just had like a big old like 44 Magnum in his hand, and he was like the plug in town for weed. Like he basically supplied Joey with weed. He like fronted him the weed so that, you know, Joey could sell. So he would, like, basically Danny Trejo's character was Simon Rex's character's big boss in the drug game. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, I liked seeing a lot of actors that I like. So that was another like overall that I had for the movie. Something else that I liked was so, you know, the two main characters were Trent and Joey. The movie mainly focused on Trent. Joey was kind of a side character, but I thought Joey, aka Simon Rex's character, totally stole the show, because Trent was more the straight man and Joey was like the comic relief. I thought Simon Rex killed it. He was, you know, he was the best part of the movie, the funniest actor in the movie. I thought he stole the show. So I really liked Simon Rex's performance, and I was pleased, because that's mainly why I watched, why I decided to watch this, because he was one of the main characters. Also, I really liked the movie had this animated intro. I thought the animated intro was really fun, super creative. I loved it. And then in like right when the end credits roll, Simon Rex is rapping a little bit in the end credits. So that was awesome. You know, I like that because that kind of reminded me of in the movie Waiting. Once you watch the movie Waiting, Andy Milonakis, he's rapping at the end of Waiting for, like, you know, during the credits. So I like the fact that Simon Rex and Andy Milonakis, they actually do rap and they do movies. You know, they're like Renaissance men. You know, and I like how they get to incorporate both together. Like, okay, I'm doing this movie. Let me you know, rap in the soundtrack. Let me do an original song for the end credits. I think that's cool that they get to like blend those two those two art forms together. That's pretty darn awesome. They're living the dream. So yeah, I like Simon Rex. He wasn't rapping a lot in the end credits. It went to another song, but you know, he had a couple bars going on, so that was cool. All right, so that's all I have for my likes. Now I'm about to jump into dislikes. So my main dislike with the movie was the fact that this movie jumped all over the place. It was inconsistent. It had like a lot of different elements, and they didn't really blend together well. So it was kind of a stoner comedy, but it didn't totally feel like a stoner comedy, because you know, the main character was not really a stoner. You know, Joey, played by Simon Rex, he was a stoner, but he was more of a side character. So there would be, you know, a lot of like stretches where there weren't any weed references. There was nothing related to weed at all. And you know, with the title being Halloweed, I really thought it was going to be like a weed movie. Also, it was like kind of a slasher, but then it was like kind of a murder mystery. It was just, you know, I like horror comedies, or even something like Idle Hands, where it blends like a stoner comedy with a horror comedy. You know, I feel like that can be done well. I feel like even though I did think this movie was decent, there was like a lot of subgenres blended together, but they didn't blend together well. You know, it didn't like flow nicely. Like it jumped around. You'd be like, there would just be like a long dramatic stretch with the main character Trent, and you'd forget about Joey. Like Joey would just disappear, and then there'd be some people getting killed, and it was all over the place, and it was just not a good mix match, not a good blend. It didn't flow together seamlessly. It was it was like a jarring mix match of different subgenres. So I didn't really like that. Also, I thought that they were, like, when I initially saw the title and the cover, I thought weed was going to be incorporated into the story more. Like, I thought it was going to be like someone smokes a joint of this evil weed and it possesses them to kill, or they smoke this strain of evil weed, and it makes them like demonically possessed, something like that. And unfortunately, like weed didn't really tie into the story. It would like just some of the characters happen to either smoke a lot of weed or sell weed. So I thought that would have been kind of cool and creative if, you know, that they incorporated that into the story. That would have been a lot more fun in my opinion. But what are you gonna do? And then the last negative that I have is, even though overall I thought a lot of the comedy was good, as much of the comedy that I thought was good, there was equally a lot of comedy that I thought was really bad, and didn't, like, the jokes just did not land, and like a lot of the jokes just like bombed for me. So the comedy, like much like the overall movie was kind of inconsistent, the comedy was inconsistent. It was hit or miss. It was either, you know, pretty darn funny or just totally stupid, totally bad taste, even for me. Like I like raunchy, edgy comedy. I like super silly, lowbrow stuff, but some of this stuff was like too lowbrow, too stupid, too bad taste, where it was just, it just didn't work for me. So yeah, the comedy was it was overall pretty good, but it was hit or miss. There were some just total bombs where they just totally missed the mark, and it was just wasn't really funny. And like I said, this is coming from a guy who I'm pretty easily entertained. I like a lot of real silly comedy, and so if I'm saying some of the comedy did not work, like, you know, it really did not work. So that's the last thing I had for my dislikes. Jumping into a recommendation, even though I thought the movie was decent overall, I thought it was okay. I can't really say I would recommend this one. It was cool to check out once, and there were some funny moments. I liked, you know, seeing a lot of actors that I'm a big fan of, but I wouldn't really, like, even though I had a decent time with it, I don't know if other people would, so I can't really recommend this one. I would say, yeah, just save an hour and 40 minutes of your life and don't watch this. You know, it's cool, but it's, yeah, there's better, you know, horror comedies that you can watch in October. So that's been my recommendation, and that has been my review of Halloweed. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.